Hello, everyone. On this podcast episode, I'm going to talk about random chance and how illogical it is to believe that the world was created by random chance. The world was not created by random chance. Many people believe, many atheists, the moment you become godless, you start believing illogical things because you have no idea why the world was created. When you have no idea why the world was created, you know, you start to believe illogical things because you can't have an answer. When you ignore the right answer, guess what? All you have left is the wrong answer. When you ignore the fact that you were created by God, all you have left will be the wrong answer. This is why atheists will never find the truth. This is why atheists have given up on finding the truth. Because they've already ignored the right answer. So what's left? Only the wrong answer is left. They can only make bad decisions from here on out. When you ignore facts, what you have left is just illogical truths or lies. That's what illogical truth is. And the illogical truth that most atheists believe is that the world was created by random chance, that humans came about randomly, that the world works randomly. But that's a lie. The world does not function randomly. Nothing in this world behaves randomly. Everything in this world follows a logical pattern, a logical rule. Rules govern this world. Scientific laws govern this world. And these scientific laws never change. The speed of light is a constant. That's not a random, the speed of light is a constant. It's not governed by randomness. It doesn't change. Gravity doesn't change. The logic that governs gravity does not change. That's not randomness. Gravity is not governed by random chance, right? The law of physics, the laws of physics, the laws of quantum physics, these laws do not behave randomly. These laws do not change from one moment to another. They're not random. They're constant laws that never change. Randomness do not govern these laws. The laws that govern our world, the laws that control our world, the scientific laws that control our world are logical laws, logical rules that never change. You can't even discover something in science. Something is not scientific, right? If it can be tested and repeated over and over again. If the answer changes every time you test something, right? Then it's not science. If you test something, right? A theory, and the answer changes randomly every single time, then it's not a scientific theory anymore. If something can be consistent, it's not science. If something can be logical, it's not science. Randomness isn't logical. Randomness is illogical because randomness can be understood. If something behaves randomly, our minds would not be able to comprehend it because there are no logical rules that govern it. That's what randomness is. Something that's illogical. This world does not behave illogically. This world does not behave randomly. There are logical reasons why this world is here. There are logical reasons why you exist. DNA does not behave randomly. The DNA that you have, that you were born with, does not change throughout your entire life. It stays consistently the same. Your DNA does not behave randomly. Your DNA sequence does not change from second to second randomly. It is a logical rule There's a logical rule that governs the way DNA behave. There's a logical rule that governs the way atoms behave. A hydrogen atom will now somehow turn and start behaving like a helium atom. A hydrogen atom behaves like a hydrogen atom. Back in the beginning of the universe, a hydrogen atom behaved exactly the way it still does right now. It hasn't changed. The logic that governs the way it behaves hasn't changed. So why do you think this world was created randomly when the world itself behaves logically? There's no randomness to this world. Everything in this world follows a logical pattern, a scientific pattern. It can be tested and repeated over and over again. That's not randomness. Randomness is illogical. This world is not illogical. Why? Because we can use our mind, our intelligent mind, to understand it. The fact that we can understand the rules that govern this world, the fact that we can understand the logic that governs this world, proves this world is a logical world. Logical people can only understand something that is logical. We can't understand things that are governed by randomness. We can't understand things that are illogical. This world is a logical world, not an illogical world. Nothing in this world behaves illogically. There are logical reasons why everything exists. Just because you don't know why something exists does not mean it came about by random chance. Does not mean it came about illogically. And that's where atheists are stuck, because they've already logically or illogically determined that the world could not have been created by an intelligent creator. That's the only answer. That's the only right answer. Because they've already ignored the right answer. All they have left is the wrong answer. All they'll have left will be illogical answers, lies, illogical conclusions. That's the problem with atheism. All they have are illogical arguments, illogical facts, nothing that makes logical sense. This world isn't a world governed by randomness. It never has and never will be. This is a world governed by logic. This is a world governed by scientific rules, logical scientific rules that you can understand, that anyone can understand. Human beings can't understand something that is random. Human beings can't understand something that is illogical. That is why it is illogical, because we can't comprehend it. And randomness is illogical. This world is not illogical. Scientists can study the human body and understand how cells work, the logic behind cells, the logic behind molecules, the logic behind atoms, the logic behind organs, and the logic behind the human body. We understand logically how the human body works. We understand logically how cells work. We understand logically how atoms behave. We understand logically how the laws of thermodynamics function. These are logical rules. These rules never change. So where's the randomness there? If the rules that govern your body never change, why do you think your body behaves randomly? Were your parents zombies when they gave birth to you? When your parents decided to have children, did they create you randomly? Are you going to tell me your parents are zombies that walk around mindlessly, randomly, and then out of random chance, someone gave, you were birthed. Out of random chance, your mindless zombies of parents came together and gave birth to you. Gave birth to you, and gave birth to all their children. They did it by random chance. There wasn't any logic to the reason why your parents gave birth to you. They just moved around by random chance, and then you came about. Is that what you're gonna say? It is illogical to believe that you were born by random chance. There's a logical reason why you're born. There's a scientific reason why you were born. It isn't by random chance. Life isn't governed by random chance. The human body isn't governed by random chance. There are logical reasons why everything in your body exists. Your body behaves logically. Your body follows scientific rules and principles. It doesn't behave by random chance. You don't behave by random chance. There are logical reasons why you do everything you do. Yet, your body is made up of atoms. The same atoms that you see all around you are the same atoms inside your body. Yet, your body does not behave by random chance. Even though your body is just atoms, most people ignore atoms. The atoms in the human body are the exact same atoms in the universe. If the atoms in the human body does not make you behave by random chance, why do you think the atoms in the universe makes the world behave randomly? You don't behave randomly. You are made up of atoms. There's a reason why you do what you do. Why do you think that? Why don't you think there's a reason why the world behaves the way it behaves as well? There's always a reason for everything. There's always a logical reason for everything. Randomness isn't a logical answer. It is illogical to believe that this world came about by random chance. It is very illogical to believe there's no logic to your existence. This world was created. It was created by God. God is the world. The world is God. And that's what you need to understand. The world was not created by random chance. Because the world is intelligent. The world is logical. You're intelligent. You're logical. The things that govern your body, the cells that govern your body, behaves logically. The molecules inside your body behave logically. The atoms inside your body behaves logically. Everything around you behaves logically. And logic and intelligence are synonymous. You can't be intelligent without being logical. You can't be logical without being intelligent. The very definition of intelligence is someone that is logical. If you're not logical, you're not intelligent. This is a logical world. This is an intelligent world. The very world you live in is intelligent. That's why you are intelligent. The world wasn't created by random chance. The world itself is God. That is why God is omnipresent. Because the moment you become omnipresent, you become the world itself. God is the world itself. Nothing can be more omnipresent than the world. Nothing can be more intelligent than the world. Nothing can be more omniscient than the world. Nothing can be more omnipotent than the world. The world is God. The very world that you think is mindless is the reason why you have a mind. The very world that you think is illogical is the reason why you are logical. So it can't be the world that's illogical. It just can't. It can't be the world that's mindless. It just can't. The world is logical. The world is intelligent. That's why you are logical. That's why you are intelligent. The world is governed by logic because the world is intelligent. You are governed by logic. That's why you are intelligent. Do not fall for the lies that God doesn't exist because the God of the Bible is real. The God of the Bible is the world around us. That's what the Bible states. In the beginning was the world, and the world was with God, and the world was God. Through God, all things are possible. Through God, all things exist. That's what the Bible states. Through this world, all things exist. Through this world, all things are possible. This world and God are synonymous. Because the moment you become omnipresent, you become the world itself. God is the world itself. God is omnipresent. You live in a biblical world. Just because God doesn't come on and tell you, I am God, does not mean God doesn't exist. God teaches you in the Bible to be humble, to not show off, to not be arrogant. So why would God be arrogant? Why would God show off? God is a humble God. That's why God wants you to be humble. Do not be as prideful do not be prideful like Satan, who wants everybody to worship him, wants everybody to see him every second of the day, wants everybody to obey him every second of the day. God is a merciful God. God is a benevolent God. That is the only reason why there's so many religions out there. The reason why God permits all these religions is because God is not a cruel God. God gave you the free will to behave the way you want. If you create your own religion, that's on you. If you decide not to believe in God, that's a choice you've made. There are consequences to every choice you make in life. There are always consequences to your choices. If you fall for lies, one of these days, you will fall apart. If you get deceived by liars, it is on you. You made the choice to follow atheists who only can lie. They can never tell the truth because they've already ignored the truth. They've already ignored the fact that this world was created. The basic fact of life, that this world was created, is something they've ignored. The only truth there is has already been ignored by them. So what do you think they have left? Lies. Since they've already ignored the truth, the only answer they'll ever give you will be lies. And that's why you need to be careful. Nothing an atheist says makes logical sense. But many atheists are in a position of power. Because of that, many people are afraid of them. They're too afraid to call them out. Because they're too afraid to call them out, they keep getting away with their illogical arguments. They keep thinking they have more power than they actually have. They're more logical than they actually are. They aren't that very logical. Logical people believe in God. Illogical people do not. Logical people know that this logical world is not a world governed by randomness. Illogical people do not. You don't live in a world governed by randomness. You live in a world governed by logic. And logic does not behave randomly. That's why it is logic. It makes logical sense. Randomness does not make logical sense. Something that behaves randomly behaves illogically. This world does not behave randomly. This world behaves logically. So that's it for this podcast episode. I pray for everyone's safety and understanding. Amen.